you have no other third baseman. You could have put Roman Anthony in there, and you would have won the runs.
Oh, you're welcome, buddy.
And Carroll's back, so you should have him out of IL.
Yeah.
But other than that, your pitchers were all in.
And welcome to another episode
What's
of
up?
Rip and React Podcast.
Yo,
I'm your host, Jim.
Heyo.
With me today is our friend from the north, 17-2, I think his name is.
oh my
Mr.
god!
Kevin Locke.
Right, Mac?
Yamamoto gave up 5 runs to the Brewers. Oh my god! What a good start! What a bum! All
Your
right,
team's
hi.
blowing their wad early, buddy. You're having a great
Yeah.
beginning, but watch out for the free fall at the end.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. Don't worry. they're all gonna be there. We'll be good.
And joining us from the southern part of the country, he's down in actually New Hampshire now.
Not yet. Still in
Nope.
Haverhill.
Still in Haverhill. Mr. Mac.
Technically more north than Salem, New Hampshire, somehow, even though we're in Mass.
I'm sorry. Let me do the correct.
Yeah.
The correct version. Mr. World Champion, Matt.
Thank you, world champ, my friend. I appreciate that. That's right, Calvin. I've had to watch you do this for years, buddy. I couldn't wait for this one.
No.
Listen, I had something. We were gonna go out to dinner, and I said, I gotta race home because Calvin's got to listen to me and Tim for an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. I'll be out of here in 45 minutes. Stop.
What a week, buddy. What a week.
Congratulations, you bums.
Thank you, pal.
Now, you guys are lucky because this episode could have been 45 minutes of me going, oh my God, did you guys see the team who blew 4-win lead? Did you see that? Oh, God.
I wouldn't have been here.
What?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, the team that blew it and had to go to a roll off and
yeah, we struggled on Sunday morning, late morning and afternoon. That was
we did.
I shouldn't say we struggled because we had the highest pinfall out of everyone and we were hitting our average. So
yeah, that was just. I mean, we've seen that before, right? People get up for that. I mean, you could just tell. You could tell that every team that we faced knew that they had a chance to stop. And
they took advantage of it.
Kudos to them. That's what I mean. That was one of those things where it was like, of course you do that. I've been on teams where you do that every year, and it's like, yeah, you look forward to that. That's kind of like, at the end of it, that's one of the most exciting parts.
I thought it was very exciting.
I mean, if you didn't stink as much at the end, we probably would have been fine. But it was okay. It was totally fine.
if you had bowled at the end,
I know. I made you bowl all of them.
Oh my God! What is wrong with you? You made the old man bowl. The old man didn't want to bowl.
He was saving it for his ACST match.
Yes. Yeah. Throw 549.
But did you win?
I did win. That was a grind. That was a good match.
That's all that matters.
That was a good one. But we'll get into that after. I don't want to cut away from the agenda here.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find the.
Thank you.
Just trying to find the actual results. They were posted at one point. I thought I saved them, and I did not.
I'm not gonna lie, there was some intensity going on the last couple hours of that tournament. There was stuff happening all over the place, right? I mean, God bless Maddie. I'm hoping she's okay.
She's good.
Yeah, I know. I'd heard more about that. I think in the moment, I don't even know how it got around, but it was one of those things where people were saying that she was being forced to finish. You know what I mean? And I know I was getting heated because we were in the middle of losing 3 in a row, about to throw a big choke job in there, and that was happening. So we were just a little extra animated about things at the moment. But it turns out she chose to do it, right? She wanted to get back in, and on her own accord was willing to bowl. So that was good to hear.
I didn't hear what happened. I know she's stuck, but is there any injury? Did she have an injury or?
Looked like it. I mean, she had to get carried off the lanes. She was she had two people carrying her off.
I don't know the whole story. I haven't really talked to Evan or Maddie. But from my understanding is that she heard a crack. She heard something that wasn't supposed to hear, but I guess it ended up being just a really bad bruise.
Okay.
Is really what it boiled down to, I believe. So,
Calvin, you didn't see it. They put a chair out in the lanes.
Yeah, I saw it. I was because I was watching you guys blow it, so I was over there and I seen her standing up and everybody was holding her up. So.
You guys blow it. What a
Oh, sorry. What?
You
I
were
thought
wrong.
that was my indoor voice first. Sorry.
let's see. So someone said it was on the Boutwell site.
I know. I went to go check that and it didn't look like anything was coming up, but
I don't know if it's on their Facebook page. Like,
no, I mean it was on their league standings page last week. Is it gone now?
maybe they may have taken it down. Yes, Nico. It was, but it was mostly on one side, and I mean, I think we'll get into it when we start going into the kind of updates and everything. But the lanes did get a little sticky. Of course, you know, the weather and everything. If you don't have with any bowling alley, if you don't have proper circulation, ventilation, the lanes will get muggy and sticky and everything. So. But it was mostly on one side, and I don't know what happened there, whether it was just that, again, maybe the circulation on one side was a little off, but it seemed to be that I think it wasn't it 1 to 12 was
it was 1 and 2. It was 1 through 12. It was lanes 13 and 14.
It was 13 because it was 13 to 24. It was blistering hot because 1 to 12 was the side you wanted to be on. 13 to 24 was hot.
1 to 12, you needed your winter jacket, and 13 through 24, you needed.
1 to 12 was pleasant. It was nice.
No, it was cold.
No, it was nice.
Well, when you get older and your blood thins, you'll find out that.
No. That's just you in general. You're just always a girl. So.
I mean, listen, those conditions, we've been in those conditions before, and it's not, it's July or June. In the middle of summer, right? It was pretty hot. They probably haven't had that type of capacity in the bowling alley. Not a lot of places have when you have a tournament like that. I mean, not only just the bowlers, but all the people watching. And when you looked up, you couldn't even move behind the lanes, right? You couldn't get through the lanes. Yeah. There were so many people, which is awesome. But I mean, that's kind of just attributable to that. I mean, they're probably a little more ventilated on one side, but again, with that many people in the middle of summer, that was just one of those things.
I don't know. I didn't talk to the Dallas family or anything about this, but from my understanding, and I could be totally wrong on this, they had an issue with the AC on 13 through 24. It was working on 1 through 12 on that side of the house. The AC was working. Okay. I don't believe it was working on 13 through 24. I think they had an issue with it on that side.
Okay.
Hey, that was the worst of it. You know what I mean? As far as everything for the whole weekend. Yeah. So it was pretty.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was the only problem. I mean, a couple breakdowns here and there, but, I'm really hoping maybe if we have it there next year, they'll get rid of that under ramp stuff and just do the straight, because it was one side was not covered and one side was covered. So if there was any ball jams, you didn't know where it was and what was going on, and you had to.
Wait, was 1 through 12 not covered?
No. One side wasn't covered. One side was.
Oh, that's right. Now that you say that, you're right.
I don't notice the ball returns. So
yeah, one side was covered. One side wasn't.
I just knew the other side was. I knew 13 through 24 were covered because I knew that they had a couple of issues with balls not coming back.
Yes. So that's the problem, is that the one side was covered. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't realize the other side wasn't covered.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was another thing. So I'm hoping maybe if we get it there, maybe they'll have that done, or if they can figure out how to get that done where we won't have any problems.
And as people know, they're not supposed to send me messages during the show.
Yeah.
Danny, you're absolutely correct. One was over and one was under. Completely different ball return setup. I never even noticed.
Yeah.
So
maybe you should pay attention next time, Tim, instead of blowing a 4-win lead.
Well, we didn't.
Oh, you did. You pulled it out in the end.
So, first, before we go, there's two people I really want to congratulate. One is Huff Power Sports.
That's not a person.
The team.
Oh, okay. You people. Would you
2
be
people, 2
specific?
teams, 2 whatever.
Okay.
So Huff Power Sports with Matt Huff, Vanessa Huff, Christy Hapworth, Denise Pinsent, Rich
Hoagie.
Beverage Jr., Everett Beverage, Jason Kaler, Hoagie, Judy Bowden. I'll feel like I might be missing someone because there's like 32 people on that team.
Judy Bowden, who was like hammered all weekend, she came up to me.
Oh, let's go, Judy.
She's like, I'm drunk. I'm like, are you really,
for,
Judy? Not a girl.
Good for Judy.
Great.
Yeah.
I really want to congratulate. They had an amazing run. I mean, they won
absolutely.
13 in a row to even get to that point. So, really, congratulations to them. They bowled great when it mattered, and frankly, that one string roll off went the correct way this time.
Okay.
Well, listen. Before that, I mean, you're right about them coming back. I'm looking at the standings now. They won 13 in a row, so they were 8-12.
Yeah,
they were 8-12 after 5 games. 2 and 3, or sorry, 4 and 5, whatever the hell it is. 4 and 6, right? 4 and 6. So they were 4 and 6 and ended up 17 and 6.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a they put on a hell of a run,
and they probably had a lot of close matches because if you look at pinfall. Their pinfall aligns more with, teams that were kind of like in the 9th and 10th, 11th spot. So, that just kind of tells you they pulled out some close strings, probably had a lot of intense matches. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just rolling. You've been in that moment. You're just rolling, winning 13 in a row. Everything's going right.
Yeah.
Oh, and again, in the match that we had, that one string. Jesus.
Angie. Calm down.
That one string roll off, the playoff match was, I mean, that was close from beginning to end.
Yes, it was.
Like no one, we started to pull away a little bit in the beginning. They clawed their way back. They took the lead. They started to pull away. We clawed back at the end. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah. It was fun. I got to be honest. So when I rewatched it with the kids, and even thinking back in that moment, there was a moment. I think it was when Vanessa cut over 3-1.
Amazing shot.
I was just kind of like, well, I mean, we have awesome bowlers coming up. It was one of those things, but it was like, in the moment to make a shot like that was just so big. You know what I mean? You've probably seen it before. You're like, all right, those are the shots it takes to win.
Roman Anthony with a home run. Sorry.
Nice. No, I mean, we were fortunate that it swung back the other way, but I really thought that was one of those moments where it was when you look back on this match.
That was in the 10th box.
Yeah.
When she cut that. And
in the box before, she had a 3-1 that she cut it right over. And I don't know how it didn't go. So she must have 2 in a row. And that put them up 20, right? Or it's close to
20, that put them up 21 going into my 9th box.
Yeah, until Timmy stepped up. That was the big ball, right? That was definitely the spark that lit us up.
Yeah. Yeah. And even you get through Aaron making a couple of really nice shots under pressure, makes those spares. You come into that, Jeff's and Kaler's 9th box. Kaler leaves another messed up leave off the head pin. I think that was his 4th one like that string.
He left the spread eagle on the right and the triangle on the left, right? But he had some wood out.
Yep, he had some wood. And then, Jeff had done the half Worcester right. And I thought Jeff made his.
I felt like Jeff's second, but even when he didn't make it, I felt like the second ball changed everything because he punches 2. Kay leaves a tough one, but if Jeff has a bad ball on his second ball, right? Yeah, and here we go into like a $5, $6 situation, and well, suddenly that leads goes from 8 or 9, whatever it was, down to 4. So that second ball was huge. You know what I mean? That kind of changed it.
But then I thought Kaler made that shot.
I know. I thought he did too.
He
hit it. He hit the 7 pin. It rocked.
Yep, he did. And then that again, the huge strike. You're up 10. He did exactly what you want the anchor to bowl to do.
And let me tell you, we talked about it before the match. He strategically wanted the right lane.
Yep.
And not everyone does, but I'm one who does as well. I like to throw the first ball. So if it's coming down to the last 2 balls, I want to throw the first one and put the pressure on. If I don't do it, I don't do it. And Jeff wanted the same thing, and it came down to it, right? I mean, he threw that first ball and he throws a hammer.
Oh, and it was it was a no doubter. Like
That
there
was a
was
no
no
doubter.
doubt.
No, maybe he does. Maybe Kaler, like, what if Kaler goes first? He drops 9. Maybe Jeff throws the hammer. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I do think he put himself in the right spot to go up there and do that, right? In that situation. That was the perfect way to have that play out for him. So
yeah.
Kudos to Jeff. That was a huge ball, man. And that was clutch. You might think you're up 10 and 1 box to go. It's easy to hold on to the lead. Calvin's like, yeah, it is. It's super easy to hold on to it, but it's really not.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's not.
Oh, you know what though? I'll say this: we don't get where we are without Mario and Sonya to top either.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately,
and the fact that they went 23 is.
Unfortunately, Kerrigan wasn't able to make it. We missed her dearly, but those two really stepped up, and Sonya went 3 in a row at the beginning of that match when the rest of us weren't doing anything.
Yep.
So again, we don't win without the whole team doing what they needed to do.
Right.
It wasn't one person. It wasn't like Aaron or Jeff went out and averaged 135 for the tournament and was head and shoulders above everyone else. You know what I mean?
The girls were awesome. They were the foundation, right? I mean, without them, and I always say the girls are a huge part in winning this tournament. I think historically, you'll see that the teams that win it usually have girls that are averaging near the top. But they were. I mean, we didn't have any subs, right? You and I were like half a man each, and everybody else bowled just about every game. Jeff sat 1, right?
Yeah.
And then you and I just split the other spot pretty evenly.
Both of us went in. Both of us had 12 strings.
Right.
I came in for you for 1. You came in for me for 1.
Yeah, you did much better when you came in for me, but yes.
Yeah, I know.
But no, that worked out. That was great. And this kind of goes to the argument. Not argument. I mean, I guess it takes certain things to happen, but we had 6 people. We had 6 people. We didn't have 10 bowlers. You know what I mean? We had 6 people. And it was like everybody did their job at the right time. So you can win without, 2 or 3 subs on each side. And I was kind of smiling at everybody. I was like, yeah, I mean, this is just, we've been talking about this in the podcast. We've been talking about it with other tournaments. We don't need as many subs. And it was just nice to go out and do it with 6.
It would have been nice if our 1 sub off the bench, though, wasn't 842 years old and semi-retired and wasn't planning on bowling all that much.
And a whiny little bitch.
And a whiny little bitch.
Yeah, but hey, it was a pretty easy decision for me thinking of that last game. Like, you've been in that spot a bunch of times. So it was really no brainer. I was like, Timmy's going to bowl this game. He's been here 100 times. And you got up in the 9th box and had the ice in your veins for that 1 ball. There might have been a little lull where you had like some open boxes in the middle. But I think if you look, I was watching the replay, you didn't miss the head bin. I think you had 5 out of 6 splits, maybe even 6 out of 7 splits your first 7 boxes, but you stayed with it. You didn't let it get to you, and those last 2 or 3 boxes come through. Yeah, that's what veterans do, and that's what you did. So it was great to watch.
So I am going to jump really quick. We had a question from Wayne Petty, our friend from Michigan, and I only bring this part up because it actually it kind of dives into that my fill on the strike. So he asked, on my first fill ball, I punched out the 159. And then the second fill ball, I split the 4-7, take out the back triangle for a 6 fill. Was that intentional, or was I shooting the 2-4 and missed left? Either way, you just wanted to hear what I was thinking. So there was two things. In that point in time, I was thinking, okay, do I go for the fill, as big of a fill as I can get, or do I go to try to make the shot? If I'm trying to make the shot, I'm going to play the 3 on the right and try to push it over to the 4 on the left because you have that extra pin. Okay. But in that time, I was going for count. The 4 on the left, if I could have made that 4, would have given me a 7 fill, which beats a 6 fill. However, I did. I threw it a little bit left. I took out the triangle, still got the 6 fill. But Wayne, ultimately what I was trying to do was I was going for count. I wasn't trying to make the shot. It's hard enough to make the spread eagle. It's harder to me when you have that extra pin. So
that was, and as somebody who's standing behind you, and it's not like we have to even talk about that, right? It's not like we're like, Tim, go for the 4.
right.
Everybody was in agreement. That was the right play. So many different things can happen. If you go right, you punch 1, you're looking at a 4 fill. If you miss the head pin, you get 2. We're looking at a 5 fill, maybe like a 7 box. But no, you go 3, and even if you miss the object, you grab 3. I think that was in that situation, perfect. If we were down 15, 20, you're probably going for the shot. But we're in the middle of a pinning grinding situation right there. So that was absolutely the right move.
But ultimately, Wayne, that's really in that situation, that's really what you're looking at. You're thinking it's almost like in basketball. So I coached basketball for many years, which I know people laugh that a 5'5" guy coached basketball, but I was actually really good. I used to be able to play. My kids were all really good at the game. So I've grown up around it. So I coached a lot, including in high school. And we always talked about time and score, especially as you get towards the end of a basketball game, time and score. There's no shot clock, right? So if you're up 4 with 2 minutes left, why are you jacking up a 3?
Mm-hmm.
You got to think time and score, and it's no different in this. It's time and score. How much you down, how much you up, and what's the situation? So in that case, I went for the fill. I mean, I went for the fill.
I mean, what are the chances? How many times did that shot go? I'm sure Greg and the people from the stats, Candlepin the Bowling Network could tell us. But how many times do you make that shot anyways? So you're not actually just trying to make the shot. Like, yeah, you are, but you're realistically trying for a fill, right? You want the biggest count.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make the shot. Calvin, what in that situation, are you trying to make the shot? I don't need to be here. Just screw off.
I switched that like 10 minutes ago. I don't think you guys know.
So in that spot, Calvin, what are you trying? Are you doing for fill, or are you going to try to make the shot?
Oh no, it 100% depends on the situation, and the situation was that you guys were go in a pinning match. Like you guys needed to be, you guys needed as many pins as possible. So you're playing the side with the most pins. Yeah, like Max said, if you guys are down 10 or 15, you're definitely trying to make the spare. So you're playing the 3 onto the 4, because you're never playing the 4 onto the 3 in that shot. You're never getting the 9 pin, even if you cut it over. Like it's almost that shot almost never goes if you're playing the 4 side. So you're playing the 3 side to cut it over and give yourself more action. But you guys are in a pinning game. You're definitely going after the most pins that you possibly can. So, yeah, no, you played it well.
Okay. I was just curious. In looking back through some of the questions here,
Danny, what are you doing? Danny, stop. Would you just stop? Like, I can't handle you right now. Why are you doing things?
He wants us to do a live draw for the ACST final.
A live draw? Oh, for the house? Yeah, there's been like 300 text messages coming through on this.
I don't know why it created 2 groups. Well, because you obviously can't internet, Danny. That's why it created 2 groups.
Let's see. Let's Greg. Man, I love these stats, Greg, that you throw out.
Yeah, right. Under 1%. So, really in
Exeter's fill average was 5.8 and Huff's was 7.4.
Yeah, that's because Tim.
Difference was Exeter had 6 more marks. Pinning was exactly even. Oh, that's pretty cool.
I think poor Mario had like a average of about a 2.5 fill for the game.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a tough one.
But
and you know what? I don't think, and this we'll start talking about the tournament as a whole. But I don't think I've ever seen so many like 2 fills and 3 fills and like. Because most of the time, and I'm not saying it's an all the time thing, but most of the time people are usually hitting the 2 or 3 pin on marks, and if you do, you're getting like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 like off the side. But if you hit that 2 or 3 pin full, you were getting 3 or 4 or punching 2, and that was happening a lot at that house. I don't think I've ever bowled at a place except for maybe one, which is in St. John, which is now I think closed. I think they're finally closed. But it was KV Lanes, but I don't think I've ever seen a place where the pins were just dead. Like there was no action off those pins unless you were like real heavy in a pocket. There was no action off those pins at Boutwell's. It was.
I was just going to ask you where you rank overall, the action, the pinfall, compared to other houses we've had this tournament at, Academy, Lita.
Oh, it's definitely the hardest.
Think so?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely the hardest that we've bowled. Like I think when I looked at the stats, I think there was 4 guys over 120.
Which is very interesting because if you look at this bowling alley in other events and in leagues, it's not, you know what I mean? It's not one of the bottom, like hardest houses. I don't know if the conditions changed. Maybe they put some stuff on the lanes that I don't know. You know what I mean? It could have been the atmosphere, the heat, all things combined that helped make that happen. But it was interesting to me to see it. It acted. It was tough.
Or maybe it was that they didn't do anything after Friday, because Friday cruising. There was so much. I think I was averaging 133 or something after the first 5 strings, and then the last 2 were a little tougher. But maybe that's what it was. Maybe they didn't do anything Saturday, Sunday. Maybe they just did it once and left it. And with the heat and everything that went through, and the air, everything, whatever, maybe it just tightened the pins up. But yeah, I don't know.
Maybe, or maybe you just didn't bowl as good anymore. But yeah.
Oh, trust me, I was hitting the head pin. Don't worry.
So here's my take on because I've never bowled Boutwell's. That was the other group. That was the other people I really wanted to mention was the staff at Boutwell's, the Dells family and everyone there. They were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about anything they did, ran the house. I thought that was an extremely well-run tournament. Any breakdowns they had was they were sending 2 guys down. I just thought it was a really well-run house.
100%.
My only issues that I had, and this is a general issue with a lot of bowling alleys, is I'm of the mindset that when you have the best of the best, you want optimal scoring conditions. Not fast, not souped up fat, you know what I mean? But you want the scores to be there. And I don't know how to word it. Okay, if you look at Bangor, the last time it was in Bangor in 2019, the pins were flying. You still had to hit them, and you still had to bowl. But the pins were flying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where now, Park Place is difficult because that was just a notoriously fast house. So it's kind of hard to say. I personally am of the mindset that when you get the best of the best together, I'm not one of these. So I'm a golfer. I'm not one of these guys that loves the U.S. Open where the rough is 8 inches long and guys are out there shooting +6. I want to see guys go low. I want to see people take chances and be risk takers and go for shots and things like that. So maybe I'm of the different mindset than others. I just like a little bit faster. That's all.
Well, I mean, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but if you think about some of those sports and their majors, right? Golf's majors, the scores when they win are usually the worst out of all the tournaments, aren't they? Like to win the US Open, you got to be, I don't even know what it was, be like 5 under, 6 under, compared to like 27
US Open this year was -1.
I don't like seeing -1 because it's a trick. At that point, you're tricking up the course to make it just stupid hard. I also don't want to see -27 either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like it. So if you take a look at, I think Augusta, to me, it's usually the British Open or Augusta National are my 2 favorite. The Masters are my 2 favorite tournaments. The Masters is absolutely, Ian, you're right. The Masters is the Masters. They don't trick up the course. The course is the course. You could score there, but you got to earn it. No one was earning the score at the U.S. Open this year. Like, it was just it was brutal, the U.S. Open.
Well, that was weather related too, right? Wasn't that, you know what I mean?
A
Like
lot
this,
of it.
I really don't think
know.
that I don't think they did much different. I mean, you really have to ask them. Maybe they can come on as a guest or something and tell us.
Yeah, maybe I should get the U.S. Open on and just say.
No, but listen. Didn't the Dallas brothers just have the Greek championship to see which one was the best? And
I think Dimitri won.
Yeah, they're all awesome, but we should have them on. Maybe they could tell us. It'd be good to hear from some of these lanes. What do you do? What don't you do? You know what I mean? Like, what we'd like to know. I'd like to know what's being put down, or what your thoughts are, and how you create better lane conditions. Or maybe they didn't want to create better lane conditions. Who knows? But it'd be good to get some insight on that.
We should have had him on. We'll get some of these proprietors on to talk about it. And again, I'm not talking about souping up the lanes so they're stupid fast. Okay, I grew up, with the Worlds. It was always Bangor, and then a couple of years in Fredericton, back to Bangor, and then it was in Halifax. And I always thought Halifax was the best of the best when it came to scoring conditions. You could score well in Halifax fair lanes, but you better bowl for it. You had to throw a good ball. You had to be in the pocket. You weren't going to get away with stealing shots all that often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you had to wipe your ball down pretty good.
Yep.
Yes, that was part of it. Yeah.
Anyway, what do you guys want to talk about? You know what? I got it here.
Aren't we talking about stats? We just talked about you guys for half an hour. We can talk about
No, we didn't talk about Mac. Let's talk about winning. How's it feel to win? No, actually, So here's what I want to say, because Calvin and I have won multiple times.
Oh, nice flex.
No, I'm not trying to flex. I remember the first time I won. I remember the feeling.
Yeah.
Explain to people what that feeling is like as a first time, because it's fresh in your head.
That's a good question. I thought about it the night before it happened, and it probably sounds dramatic, and I'm like, oh my God, it's the first time in 30 years, but it really is. Been close. Calvin's taken a few from us over the years in the finals, which was awesome. But a couple too, right? It feels awesome, Tim. It really feels great, and it feels good to do it with some of my best friends. It feels better to do it like that. And I've told people in the years that I've been bowling, I said, listen, getting my name on one of those trophies would be, like a life-fulfilling achievement. But if you can do it with your best friends, blows away anything that you can think of. So the fact that it's with some of the people that I've been bowling with forever, including Jeff and Sonia and Mario, you and I, it's our first time, but we've been talking for a long time. I'm excited about this. And then having Aaron come in, there's no feeling like it. I mean, it's as good as a feeling as there is in this game. I'm sure the feeling of winning the men's worlds is probably something similar. But no, I'm going to ride this one out and really enjoy it. And it's even better just because of the friends that we did it with.
It's a great answer.
Aw, that's so cute.
It's not. I'm not lying.
No.
It really is. It means everything to me on the people that we did it with. So that's where I get a little sentimental and emotional about it, and talking with everybody. And no one can ever take it away from us, and we'll get to talk about it forever. So I'm just hoping to do it again, right? But I mean, that right now, I'm going to really enjoy this year. It's been a good year all around. So just super. Listen, I'm pretty lucky to be asked to be on the team I was on. Okay, so I'll say that was a fortunate thing for me. So I'm super grateful for that, and I acknowledge that, right? So it's
especially being all washed up.
Bowlers. I know, right?
I freely admit I am most likely done for the most part with high caliber bowling. I am
until the next big tournament.
Well, I am bowling. I mean, I'm on the world's team.
Unless you bowl us.
He's like, I'm retiring. He just admitted a retirement, but I'm on a world's team.
But I'm like the end of the bench. I'm the break glass in case of emergency guy that you hope you never have to break.
Okay.
There's more to it than that, buddy, and you know that. There's a lot that goes on being a teammate and being that support, and you know what I mean. So it's all good.
I hurt. I only bowled 12 strings. Call it 13 when you factor in me coming in for Mac, and Mac bowled 13 when you factor coming in for me and things like that, right? I hurt more on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday than I've ever hurt after a men's worlds or anything else. And that's how I know that my bowling, per se, is probably done. Physically, it's just not. Mentally, it's there. I still feel like I'm 25 to 30 years old and can still compete and everything else. But
listen, do you bowl during the? Do you bowl in the league during the summer?
Hell no.
Okay, so I'm the same way. And I was saying to someone, if this tournament was in the middle of our prime season, when personally I'm bowling 4 days a week or whatever, it would have felt like just another normal weekend. But we take the month off before. I don't bowl anything other than ACST. So I felt the same thing. Like day one felt great. Day two, like, haven't bowled in a month. You know what I mean? Body's kind of like, what's going on here? So I think a lot of people feel that in the summer, though.
For the people who don't bowl Can-Ams, because people who bowl Can-Ams have 16 strings. Now they got a weekend in between, but there's 16 strings or 20 strings, 21 strings, depending on if you make it. So.
And the standing up in between.
These comments are a friggin' riot, by the way.
What?
Oh, the comments.
Oh,
which
Brett
comments?
Favre.
Oh. Yeah.
Do not ever associate me with Brett Favre, please.
Yeah.
Look at Tim just retired. In about 2 days, he's going to be on a new Mixed Worlds team. He's like, I'm all excited about next year.
Yeah.
Nope. I will come visit next year. I will come down and because it's the team itself, it's still Matt's team. Yeah. He just couldn't make it this year.
Yep.
So.
And there were other people that were injured. This was a throw-in year. This was like a fill-in year for everybody. So I get it.
Yeah. So if that's it for me, I'm good. I'm so good with it.
All right, let's talk about, if we want to continue talking about this tournament, let's talk about other things. Or Calvin, do you have any thoughts, or is there any other bowling stuff that we wanted to talk about?
We can talk about the standings and talk about the averages and talk about the slowness and.
So,
I knew I'd get something.
Well, wait. What do you say? Slowness. What are you getting at there?
Where's my soapbox? Where's my soapbox? Things that grinds Tim gears. How about that? We haven't had one of these for a while. So we started on Friday. Bowled 7 strings. Started at what? 1 o'clock, right?
Yeah, a little bit later.
After Nate did his 35 minutes worth of speech.
Nate delayed because there was a team that didn't have any girls.
So, wait, what?
What?
Yeah. Friday afternoon, when we started the tournament, there was a team that their girls hadn't showed up yet. That's why Nate was stalling so much.
Why didn't he just say that?
Because
he didn't need to stall. He could have said, hey, we're going to wait a few minutes. His team's girls are on their way. They're late getting here.
Yeah, because Nate is Nate. That's why.
Oh, my. Anyway.
Yeah.
Here's my soapbox with this tournament and others. Men's Worlds, specifically Men's Worlds and Mixed Worlds. We start at 1 o'clock. We bowl 7 strings. Why am I not getting to my hotel until 10:30? Granted, it was 20 minutes away, so let's say 10 o'clock, right? Why am I not leaving until 10 o'clock? That is 9 hours to bowl 7 strings. On Saturday, we start at 9 a.m. Get out at the same exact time. We only bowled an extra 3 strings.
Last ball was thrown at 9:45 because there was a bet going on between 2 bowlers. So the last ball was thrown at 9:45 p.m.
Okay. I understand. Now, this isn't a knock on Boutwells, Lita, any of the people that have hosted this tournament, right? But why are we using the computer scoring system that way? Why not just set it up for open bowling? Put your 5 names in, you got paper. You bowl your strings, you write it down, you bring your paper up, they enter the scores in while we start the next string.
Because then you have room for manual error. And I don't think you want that. I don't think that's the way.
Room for manual error, Mac. We've been doing that way since I started in 1992.
What are you talking about? And you have correct score. Like, what are you?
No. I'm saying if you bring the scores up from open bowling and somebody has to manually enter 24 team scores into a system, we saw that in the old worlds. That can get messed up. It's not automatic anymore, right? This is an automated. The way they did it is an automated system to save some time. I have some ideas on how to make it faster, but I don't think that they can make it open bowling in thinking that's going to be faster. I think there'll be more.
It is 100% faster. Mac,
it's faster on the end of maybe we can get, but what if? I mean, who's going to be putting in the scores? You know what I mean? There's a shit ton of scores to put in.
No different. You used to have a committee that did it.
You have to collect the scores of a manually written score sheet and do all that. I don't mind this. Like, I don't mind the automated, putting the names in, having sub numbers for everybody. You know what I mean? And having your name in there. Because there's a lot of reasons they do that, right? It does automate things. But I think where we could have improved, and we can do it in the future if this is the system that we're going to use, how many minutes in between games were there when everybody was done? Right? Everyone was done, but the system now had to process. And it probably took between 5 and 10 minutes every game, right? For the computers to update and to move on to the next game.
Yeah.
So I just think we just throw out score sheets for every game. They make an announcement, start your next game, and everyone's manually keeping score on the score sheets until the computer comes up, and then you can just catch up. You know, just start it and then catch up with the scores after the computers are reset. But there's no reason to stop and wait for the computers to be done in between each game. Like, that part was a killer.
I mean, I could be on board with that.
Because even if it's 5 minutes, 23 games at 5 minutes, 115 minutes, 2 hours of our weekend, right?
And again, I'm not
just waiting for a system, and it's not their fault. It's just that's how the system goes.
Yep.
So okay, now we know how it goes. If we do it again, let's put some manual score sheets out, and they can make an announcement. Nate can get on the mic like he loves to do and say, "Here we go, start your engines," and then we can just go. There's no reason to sit and wait that long because it took forever.
So, Greg, you said when they did the open bowling mode for the playoff match, in-house spectators couldn't see the total on the screen. My take on that is, for 20 plus years of the men's worlds, you didn't see the totals on the screens.
Yeah, it sucked though. It sucked.
But we didn't know any different.
Yeah, but we have the means to do it.
That's how it was.
It's right there in front of you. Just use it. Use the features, but just speed them up the best we can. I mean, that was no good.
I'm not calling you world champ anymore.
I'm just saying that last game when we did the tiebreaker and it was open bowling, you suck. And it was open bowling for all the people that were around, it was kind of tough. They didn't have a total to go off, so everyone had to go off their phone. So no, I like the league system. I just think it, for whatever reason, it takes as long as it does. I don't know why.
But it shouldn't, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but we can outsmart the computer system. This is from the 90s. We haven't been able to figure out a way to move on.
But it's even worse so with automatic scoring. When you get some of these new houses that have completely automatic. Isn't Academy automatic?
It is now. So automatic reset, not during leagues and tournaments.
No. I'm talking about automatic scoring.
Yes.
So you can't do that now with automatic scoring.
No, but it also doesn't. I think it's just the time in between, right? And that was where we were sitting and waiting. I don't think it doesn't have that lull with the automatic scoring.
It shouldn't. To me, it shouldn't take more than 50 minutes for a one-string match, 5-person bowling.
What do you think, Calvin? What's the pace up in Canada lately? Hi, buddy. Wake up.
What's up? Hey.
What's the pace in Canada? Are you noticing a slower pace or more of the same?
Oh
Have
no,
things changed at all?
we're much faster in Canada because
Yeah.
we don't wait. We just go. Like there's people who cut off people. That's how fast we are. We don't care. Whenever you're ready, you go. We're not like America where you need to wait for the guy 6 lanes over to throw
I
your
know.
ball.
I know, it's infuriating.
Yeah, like I mean, I when I watch myself compared to other people, like I'm not standing there and waiting like everybody else is. I'm like, and I look at some people and I'm like, why aren't you throwing your ball? Well, I'm waiting for this person. Yeah, but that one's waiting for that person. Oh, I know, but I'm trying to wait. No, go. You're
Go.
ready. Go. Why are you waiting for that person to wait for that person to wait for that person? What is going on right now? Why, like, as soon as the person on the left is not going and the person on my right is not going, I'm going. I don't care if that person's waiting for the person on the right and then the person on the right starts to go. I'm going to go ahead of you because I was ready before you were. And then you can go after me. Like, I don't take 15, 20 seconds per ball. I pick up the ball, I do my thing, and I go. Even my third ball, I'm going before you're going. Like, I guarantee it. So, like, it just boggles my mind, and it frustrates me beyond belief to watch people and everybody standing there looking at each other like, oh no, I like your head better, and no, I like your head better, and no, you look so pretty, you can go, and no, if you're ready, pick up your ball and go.
You know what I attribute it to, and I was thinking about this the other day, is I think there's just a lot of new bowlers that are in some of these competitions, and they're trying to be ultra respectful, and they don't want to make any rough, they want to ruffle any feathers or make anybody think they're cutting them off. And I've noticed that it's just a lot of the newer bowlers who just wait super long. And you know what I mean? Maybe it's just because of the people that have been around for a long time. Maybe they know the older way and they're like, yeah, this is just when I go. But I don't know. I was trying to figure out what the heck is it? Why is everyone doing this? But I think everyone's trying to be the kindest person on the lanes.
Yeah, that's one thing is that, and some of it because in some aspects, as all of us know, the bowling gods are very spiteful when it comes to certain things. So sometimes, when you go and you say cut off the person, then it's like, oh, okay, and then that person gets up and throws a strike in your face, and you're just like, oh yeah, like, son of a bit, had I not cut them off and thrown my ball, and you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that just happens, right?
So Wayne, you ask if there's a broadcast, you go box for box. So a little bit difficult because every broadcast was every TV show I was on was a little bit different. Some TV shows I bowled against someone, they were on one lane, I'm on the other. I had another TV show where it was just one person up at a time. So they're all done a little bit different. But if I watched a quick video of me from the channel, Maine used to have the Channel 10 show. PBS used to do it, and it was out of Vacation Land. And there's a mixed double show that I'm on TV with. It was Paula Truman and myself, and we're against Val Joy and Jim Woodson. And it's a quick 1-minute video that Nick Norcross sent to me. And I'm on the right and Jim's on the left. I throw a 9-pin drop. Jim throws him. I pick up my ball. I make my 9-pin drop. I just pressed the button. I didn't wait for him. He went. As soon as he threw his third ball, I was ready to go. I threw my first ball in my second box before right when he pressed his button, and I threw a strike and I sat down.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't wait because we didn't wait. We didn't cut each other off, but we didn't wait.
No. And that's the thing. As long as you're not cutting the person off, like, go throw your ball whenever you're ready. Like, yeah, I can understand the courtesy of not cutting somebody off. Don't do that. But if somebody's throwing, like, it, I always say this because I revert back to when I was bowling 5-pin. 5-pin, you could have their fifth bowler be done by the time their first bowler is still throwing their box. because they go up, they throw a strike, they push the button, they don't push the button, it resets. It's an automatic reset. So they go up and the first person throws their ball. Well, if they, say punch the head pin because there's only 5 pins, it's a little more difficult. So then the next person gets up, throws their ball. If they throw a strike, it's the next thing. Next person gets up, throws a strike. It's, it's constantly going. They're not waiting for that person to finish their box. They're just constantly going. So again, your 5th bowler could be done before the first or second bowler's done their box.
No, Wayne, I don't think we're saying we're not pressing a button while my person's in their approach. I would never press my button while someone's in their approach. If they haven't started their approach, sure, I'm pressing my button. Or if they go past me and they've released the ball, then I'll press the button. But I'm not pressing the button while someone's in their approach.
No. Like sometimes I've done where if I throw in a strike and most of the time I usually only do it in the 10th box because it's just the way I am. But if I throw a strike and that person's throwing their first ball, then I'm pushing my button.
Yeah.
It's, you do that. Or if I throw a spare and they're throwing for their 3rd ball, I'll push the button. It's just.
I mean, in the world back in the day, and Mac, you can probably attest to this, there'd be times where you might still be finishing up your first box and the other guys just finished their second box because you threw 3 balls and he threw a double strike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and as long as you aren't one of those people who bend over the ball return to press the button, if you can just do it on your way back or whatever to just stay out of it's who cares? I mean, like we said, what about the automatic resets, right? Those just come down. So there's no controlling that. So if someone's in their own lane, just throw the ball. I mean, press the button. It hurts. It hurts to watch that. I don't like watching it. How many times this past weekend where somebody on the left was in a different match and they're just sitting there waiting. And I'm like, not only have I not stepped up in my approach, the person to my right isn't even close to throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So you're adding a minute to our day. You just added a minute by waiting that ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I never cared about the match to my left or right. It was just about my match.
This game, how much focus does this game take? It's like golf. How much focus do you need? So now you're up there and you're focused and you're on your pins, and then your eyes just shift over into the right and go, oh, I got to wait a second. You know what I mean? It's like your own game. This game, there's no defense. You have to focus on your own. No one's going to help you. So whatever you can do to get in the mode where you aren't distracted by what's going on either side is only going to help you. I think Canada was way ahead of the U.S. on this. I think the U.S. is over courteous. We're all worried about what everyone's going to think about us doing.
We are now.
Throw the ball, press the button. You know what I mean? If you're doing it disrespectfully somehow, where you're actually interfering with somebody, then you know what I mean? Maybe someone will say something to you, but for the most part, just bowl your own game. Bowl your own game, and that's it. Everyone's so worried about everybody else. It's too much for me.
Oh, yeah. We used to bowl with people in our ears. So, right?
That's what I mean. That's why I teach the kids. I teach Molly. I'm like, she'll be like, oh, this noise is going on. And I'm like, well, there's going to be way more going on when you're in a big tournament. So deal with that. Deal with the little baby on your right running into your lane. Deal with, someone reaching over your ball return. Figure it all out now, because you're never going to have a perfect atmosphere where there's no distractions going on.
No. I do want to, get to some of these stats real quick. The team high series that I thought we had wrapped up with our 632 got absolutely crushed by Hammer Barn. Hammer Barn went 671, literally almost 40 pins, 39 pins better than the second place high single.
Yeah, I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
Oh my God.
I don't know how they did it.
Wait, I do know how they did it. Was that Saturday?
Yeah, Jeremy was there.
Well, I'm not saying it's only because of Jeremy, but Jeremy came in and bowled awesome.
Yeah, he did.
Jeremy was there? I didn't even see him.
He was there for one day, Saturday. They did, I think I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but I'm thinking it was their best day overall team-wise. Jeremy's he's a difference maker, so I get it. Yeah.
So Danny Finn must have been sitting that string for them to throw a big one.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind Danny was sitting. Yeah,
definitely sitting on that one. The The high singles for the men, Brian Fuller with a 170
on the very last string of the tournament.
On the very last string, and
after
then
he got smoked by the King of the North.
Well, I'm sorry, I had a million texts coming through. Say that one more time.
He got smoked by the King of the North.
You're the King of the North?
Yeah.
I thought I was the King of the North.
No, you're the South.
No, you're the South.
No, I'm the ACST North. Okay, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And for the women, Shannon Scribner with a 167, which I think hers was on the last string of the tournament as well, wasn't it?
If it was to win that and the high average, right?
I think so.
I don't remember if it was the last string or like the second or third last string.
I know it was on Sunday.
It was on Sunday for sure.
It wasn't the last because it shows the last week women's highs on here was Melissa Sinton 136. So it was close to the end. So
yeah.
Close to the end.
High average for the high average was Josh Daly with a 126. And for the women, Shannon Scribner with a 111. So nice job to those guys. Any other stats you guys want to call out?
No.
Greg,
I don't know if you have it or if Paul's listening and has it. How many? Because wasn't there like 14 or 15 perfect games last year? And this year we only had 8. I think that's why they capped it at a certain amount, because there were so many perfect games the year before. I think that's what happened. So that's another testament to what happened, like the pinfall there. I had a chance at it 3 times, and twice I ended up with the 5-7-10, which ruined my perfect game.
I was gonna laugh and say I think Surratt had about 8 chances at that.
Oh my God! I thought Jeff was going to have a coronary. He had 5 strings in a row where he lost the perfect game in the 9th or 10th box.
Yeah.
Oh, 15 and 9. There we go.
Yeah. Hey, to be better.
Yeah, that's kind of what we told him too.
Did you be better, bud? Did you pick some more pins?
Couldn't get one against me either. What a bum.
Oh man.
No. So again, congratulations to, and I also, let's shout out while we're shouting some people out, the good fine folks of Candlepin Bowling Network, and all the other streamers. If you looked around, you saw not only was Greg on one side, and on the other side was Bob and Kevin Burns and whoever they had helping out. But then when you look, you probably had at least 6 to 8 other teams that was streaming every match.
Timmy was streaming. Charlie was streaming. The TikTok ladies were streaming. The Magic Man was streaming. And there was somebody else who was streaming. And I think it was Magic Man, our match. I think he had the most for the weekend, and that was like 8,000 people or something, or 4,000 people or something had like logged in or signed or watched the match. So it was crazy. So many people watching all the time.
Well, I didn't want to forget to thank them either. So I know in the final match, I know my wife made it home in time and actually was at our son's house, and they watched it because I got a snap from them saying stop sucking, or something, or words to that effect.
You sure it was bowling she was watching, or was it like an old video of yours?
No, it was bowling, because it was You're a funny guy, Mac.
I had my family watching from the cottage, and my uncle said, "I watched you throw 2 8 boxes," and I left. I said, "Wow, yeah, that kind of sucks." Those are my first 2 boxes of the string, and then the rest got better. But yeah, 2 8 boxes.
I will say this: I did go back and watch the final match. The only thing that I wished I could see was was my reaction to when I threw the strike, but it got cut off with the score. That's the only thing.
When it popped up in the middle?
The score was on the sides.
Yeah.
So when I threw my ball, I moved. I got a little animated and moved over to my right, which was right behind the frame. So, oh well. Greg, I blame you because I suspect I might have got a little excited on that one. So they paid out what? Six?
We got 6. So yes.
Oh, you did make it. Look at that. So JD's seamless gutter balls.
Yeah.
6th place.
Yeah, we lost our last string, would have been 3rd or 4th, and we ended up 6th. So that's how.
So it was all pinfall then at the end, right?
Yeah.
So it was JD's seamless gutter balls, and I just want to shout out Narclones, who were my underdog pick. So great job to them.
Awesome team.
Oh my God, yeah. A lot of fun. A lot of fun to bowl them.
Except for Devin. He sucks.
Who?
Devin Brooks.
What a pickup for those guys.
That was a good pickup. Team Holbrook, 4th. Penny Lane's bottom shelf 3rd, and then of course Huff Power Sports 2nd. So congratulations to all the teams there. I am going to don't know why I'm going to make Danny happy here, but I am going to go ahead and do a wheel of names. This right here is going to be for, what are we doing this for, Mac?
I believe this is our ACST finals.
Yes, the house. I'm going to draw 2. The first one, and if they say no, it'll be the backup house.
There's been about 1,000 text messages going on. You would have thought that we could have figured out a place, but you get 10 people trying to put opinions forward, and we're having a little issue.
So we've got Timber, Harvard, and Riverwalk, and they changed the formatting on here.
Mac, tell your dog to shut up.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I've been texting my family. This is crazy. I'll just mute it for now. Sorry.
I really don't care.
We're gonna shuffle this a few times. There we go, and we're gonna spin 3 times. The first time doesn't count.
Yes, Caitlin, we're sending Danny an invoice after this.
This one does not count.
Harvard, it is.
No.
Why not? You did randomizer.
Because I'm randomizing it again.
You just removed them. God.
No, I did not. So here we go. This is it. All the money in the world. The number 1 choice is
Harvard. See, Harvard. I told you it was Harvard.
Okay. So we're going to remove them from the equation. The backup plan.
Big money, no whammies. Riverwalk.
Backup plan is Timber. There you go, Danny. Harvard and then Timber. And if they both say no, then let's see who wins. If they all say no, I'm going to say Riverwalk will be the 3rd option.
No, Blue Space, not Riverwalk. It didn't land on the name.
So there you go.
Somebody asked real quick. They said, Mac, do you have any comments on your match day with Pete? Because we had our Northern Conference Finals on Thursday this week. And Tim, I was feeling the same as you. I didn't know if my body was recovered to bowl Thursday, even though it was only 12 games. But we had a match. It wasn't the most fantastic match, but it was close. And I think I squeaked by 549 to 520 or something like that. But Riverwalk was doing Riverwalk things, a lot of punching. And but overall, really good match. I think I had an unfortunate break at the end. It was like single digits. I was on a mark. I missed the head pin, left the head pin for a spare. and then just grazed by it on the spare shot, but something shot back and it took it. And you could just see Pete like sitting there like, you got to be kidding me. I felt that, but what are you going to do? I have no choice to take it. So that was kind of what decided the match. So, yeah, now I get to face Jeremy Seaholm in the finals.
It'll be nice finals.
Get your butt whooped. You're all washed up.
Jeremy and I had a money match 15 years ago, and he has held on to that. And he's ready to come at me. You let me know.
Jeremy is a multiple-time world champion. So
Jeremy is a multiple-time world
champion.
He's a beast. So no, it'll be fun no matter what. I don't expect low scores from him. So
that'll be a fun match.
A lot of good matches. I'm not even sure who the other finals are, but it'll be a good day. Everything should be streamed all in one spot. Sounds like we're at Harvard now. Is that where
Harvard? Yep, Harvard. If they say no, Timber. If they say no, Riverwalk. And if they say no, then I don't know what to tell you. Take it up to Rob, and a special shout out to Rob at Exeter Lanes for his sponsorship, generous sponsorship of our team, as well as Montalvo Palumbo Electric, and I probably totally butchered that name.
Okay, now honestly, you opened up a can of worms because we're gonna have to acknowledge all the teams that got sponsored by other. Like you can't just give yourself credit and give.
I most certainly can. It's our podcast.
Did it.
Don't be so
silly. Did it right in your face.
Now you gotta do it
right in your face, buddy.
JD's Seamless Gutters. Thank you for the sponsorship, Jason Doucette. What a superstar. What else do we got? Academy Lanes. I'm sure they sponsored.
Then they should get their own podcast. And they can thank them.
They can thank them. They can take a facial in the face. Yes.
Kingswood, Hanwell Wellness, and High Rollers. Good job for their sponsors.
And they should put their pants on the right way.
They should.
That is. I gotta say this story real quick before I talk about it. So Mario's bowling at some point, and I don't remember. This was Saturday morning, right, Mac?
You got me.
I think it was Saturday morning. We might be in the second or third string, and she's like, "I just figured out why these don't fit. These pants that were coming right up to my titties." And I was like, "What is going on, Mary?" She goes, "I had them on backwards."
She's something else. If you don't know, for anyone who doesn't know Mario, oh boy, she is a treat.
Mario and I'll tell you, Mario and Sonia are just two of the best people to bowl with. They're just fun.
Yep,
they are.
Just
thank God, because you and Jeff and Aaron, tough crowd. But those,
I'm fun.
I wouldn't go that far.
Hey, real quick, I want to announce the ACST finals. Danny just sent us along.
We just had real quick.
It's not real quick, but everybody deserves mentioning here. This is an 11-month season, and these guys got through to the finals. There's 7,000 people in the league or something like that. I don't know how many are in. There's a lot. But I think we mentioned myself and Jeremy in the A finals. In the B finals, my buddy Glenn Gill is having a great year. He's taking on JT, Justin Lyonnaise. The C division finals, Dimitri Delis. Was he the one who was he just the winner of the Brothers Bash there?
Yes.
Yeah. Dimitri's taking on Zach Corbett from the South. The D division is another buddy of mine, Gary Dion out of Academy. He's taking on Patrick Holland, and that's the D division. E division is Matt Powers against Jesse Mondor. And then the F division is Chuck Park versus Paul Campos. So great years from everybody. Making it to the finals is no easy feat. So definitely congratulations to everybody there. They well earned.
This coming weekend, the $4,600 mixed doubles 5th annual scratch knockout at Exeter Bowling Lanes. That is July 13th. Doors open at 8 a.m. One shift at 9:30. Last I knew, they had one spot available. I don't know if it's still available or not. And speaking of Danny Finn, he has posted Outrun the Bear team event, 80% handicap doubles 9-pin at Ryan's Millis, August 31st, 9 a.m. warm-up, first ball at 9:30. $80 per person, $160 per team. Just so you know, Danny, you probably should have just put $160 per team because it's a team event. I'm just saying. Just a little nitpicky on my part. Buybacks round 1 is $20 per person, $40 per team. Increases by $5 per person, $10 per team each string. Highest fall average with a minimum of 30 strings bowled. Prepay is necessary. Money is due no later than August 17th. Capping at 42 teams. How to pay? See the Candlepin chat because I'm not going to list it all out here. Sign up is a Google form. And yeah. So we're gonna go back into hibernation, I think.
Sweet.
Real quick before we go, maybe we can continue this after we hibernate.
Real quick again.
But
listen, you only get 2 real quicks.
I'm quick, Calvin. I'm quick, and
I've heard.
are not.
I've heard. Your wife told me.
Did she tell you? Did she let you know? She had a lot of time in her hands with all the quickness. This tournament this year, and I don't know why it just hit me this year. Maybe it was looking around and seeing how much fun everyone has and how close the friendships have gotten over the years. But I'm now convinced that for our men's worlds, we need to remove the borders and just let the teams be the teams, because I don't think there's any sense in, you know what I mean? Like, I get it, US, Canada. I just think the tournament would be better with, I think overall the competition would be better. Scores would be higher if we were able to mix teams.
Could we max out at 8 per team?
Well, I mean, yeah, all those things are on the table too, but I just think that the border should be removed. I mean, Calvin, you and Davey bowled together for years. You know, why not? Why not now go win it with the teams that these guys that you bowl with? There's really not that. There's no vendetta against each other anymore. It used to be the U.S. hated Canada and vice versa, and I don't know.
And it used to be that Maine bowlers hated Mass bowlers, and New Hampshire bowlers hated Mass bowlers, and Canada hated Mass bowlers, and Mass bowlers hated New Hampshire bowlers, and hated Maine bowlers, and hated Canada bowlers, and you know, I'm okay. I've advocated for years of removing the borders.
I think we get more Canadians. Maybe not more Canadians. That's not the right word, but I think the overall talent level would go up just based on being able to fill some spots. You know, you don't have to put together a whole team, but you can just kind of pick and choose certain guys. And yeah, I think it would be good that way. Just my opinion, but something to talk about in the future.
Are you a captain?
I'm not even in the tournament. No, I won't even be there this year, buddy. So enjoy. But
why?
But as somebody who's seen, 25 or 30 of these things go by,
you're not bowling, Mac? You're not on a team?
I'm not on a team this year.
Why?
See it. It's, you know what I mean? I'm just looking for it to be. I just want it to be the most competitive it can be, and trying to figure out ways to make that happen. Less. There's enough tournaments that are watered down. That's not one I want watered down, and I just want to see the best people on the planet bowling. And I think that would be one way that it could happen. That's all.
Calvin?
I am. I'm ready to go.
You ready to go? All right.
Ready to go.
Mac, you want to do the disclaimer?
I don't know what it is, but I'll just do a random one.
Go for it.
Go for it.
All right. Well, none of the views that you have heard today are actually any of ours. These were all programmed in by a robot machine that we talked about before them. No, what does Brian actually say? He says none of the views.
The views and expressions of Ripping the Rack podcast are those of Tim, Calvin, and Mac. And if you don't like it,
we got 2 words for you.
That's pretty much what he says, only he says it in a more soothing tone.
Yes.
So I will simply say, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. You can send all your questions and comments to rippingtherackpodcast@gmail.com. Even though, to be fair, Ryan Drago, I completely apologize. I did not call you when I said I would, and I will try to call you tomorrow to answer your questions that you had. I don't check that very often, the email account. So anyway, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us, like and subscribe, by the way, on YouTube. You can find us on, where else can they find us? On
OnlyFans, Big Booty Brian.
Big Booty Brian on OnlyFans. Look him up. Look up BBC. By the way,
you find
not for nothing, it is one of the best drinks you can get on a cruise, on a Royal Caribbean cruise. It is called the BBC. It is Banana Bacardi rum. It is amazing.
That doesn't sound like BBC. Sounds like one of those letters is wrong, but okay.
It's Banana Bacardi Colada. It's not the BBC. It's, and the first time Angie had me go up and order it was to a very large gentleman. That was
okay. Time to cut her down. Time to cut her down. Let's go.
Hey, and also in the future, let's get some guests on this show.
We have you. That's guests tonight.
No, let's get some. There's some people I think we should bring on that would absolutely just throw this show on its side for about 20 minutes. So
all you got to do is ask.
All right.
Yeah.
I've had people ask me, and I was like, you know what, it's a good idea. Maybe
why don't you? Amazingly, we have a chat group for the four of us that you could bring it up
and say, "Hey, this person asked me and wants to come on."
And I could say, you know what, Mac, that's a great idea. Why don't you give them the information?
Yeah, but it's usually about 8-11 on every Monday night that I realize that there's a podcast going on, and then I got to jump on. So it's a little late for that. But
Ian, you can come on after November, after you have some experience at Worlds.
So hiatus, we are entering the next portion of our summer hiatus.
Probably for a month.
It's July 7th. You will not hear us at least for the next month and a half, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it turns out to be. Who the hell knows? So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Send all your complaints to Mac, and he will take care of them. He is our enforcer. Mm-hmm. So appreciate that. Everybody have a great rest of your summer.
See ya.
Go Jay.